Hi, this is Corinne Cavender, Behavioral Health Solutions Executive Assistant at Tri-County Health Network. Welcome to another edition of Mental Health Matters Access Show here on Kodo. This month, we will be learning more about the Communities That Care Coalition, also known as CTC. Like always, our monthly Mental Health Matters show on Kodo highlights resources and programs available in our community around mental health. Interviews will be posted to our website at TCHNetwork.org following the broadcast. We are excited to have you join us today. Thank you to Kodo News Department and Ben Kerr for making this possible. For this segment of Mental Health Matters, we are joined by Tammy Ragan and Olivia Hatcher from the Communities That Care Coalition. First, will you guys introduce yourselves, what your titles are, and how long you've been in the county?
Sure, I'll go first. My name is Tammy Ragan, and I recently joined Tri-County Health Network about 2 months ago as the CTC administrator, but have been in the Telluride community for about 2 years.
Awesome. And my name is Olivia Hatcher. I am currently a junior at Telluride High School. I have lived in Telluride for almost all of my life. And currently I am helping run the CTC coalition with 2 other seniors.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for joining me today. So for those who haven't heard of Communities That Care, can you explain to our listeners what that is and why it's important?
I can take that. This is Tammy. So Communities That Care is a coalition of both youth and adults committed to making Telluride a more healthy, accessible, inclusive, and safe place for youth in Telluride. It's based on an evidence-based prevention model and is used around the country to foster both the physical and mental well-being of youth. And the San Miguel County Communities That Care Coalition is really awesome because we believe in elevating youth voices and allowing youth to take leadership roles in our community to create change in our community that benefits youth. I don't know, Olivia, if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. I think it's just really important for youth to have a voice in the community since so many decisions surround like what youth do, like school, how much funding we get, which is sometimes a really big issue.
Thanks, Tammy. Olivia, I want to ask you a question. So from the student's perspective, why did you get involved in CTC or Communities That Care?
So I got involved in CTC as I think an 8th grader when it first started out in the Telluride School District. And I just thought it was really important for, again, that the students could have a voice in the decisions that were being made for them by the adults. And sometimes adults don't understand the perspective of kids. And I think that adding that perspective just really helps bring the community closer together and makes the community a safer and more welcoming space for kids.
Thank you. That sounds amazing. So if other students, parents, or community members wanted to join the coalition, how would they do so?
If students wanted to join, they can reach out to Olivia, obviously, or any of the other students involved in CTC. Mr. Jones, the school counselor, has also been an amazing part of the CTC. You can also email our youth coordinator. Her name is Emily, and her email is ctc-youth@tchnetwork.org. As for parents and adult community members that have an interest in helping our youth and tackling like these big system changes in our community, they can email me at Tammy. My name is Tammy, but my email is ctc-admin@tchnetwork.org. And then obviously the Tri-County Health Network website has a bunch of information.
Thank you. Olivia, another question for you. What is one thing that you've learned by being involved with the Communities That Care Coalition?
Well, I've definitely learned a lot, but I think I've learned a lot about just like the statistics in surrounding the culture of Telluride High School. Like, I think we do a survey every couple of years surrounding like, oh, do you drink? How much do you drink? Do you do drugs? And I think that it's really informative, especially since I think the results for Telluride are pretty high compared to other places. And it's really important for youth to have a safe place where they can go and not just be walking around. And Telluride doesn't have that. So it's really important that we get, I don't know, a youth center. And that's a goal that we've been working to since I joined CTC.
Yeah, that actually segues perfectly into my next question for both of you is, what are some upcoming goals or initiatives of the coalition?
Well, I think Olivia touched on a couple of them already. The survey is up this year for 2021. They're going to start that. I mean, it goes into 2022, but it started this November. And I think this will be our third year doing these surveys, and it'll be great to have the community support and the student support and kind of processing and analyzing those data results, because I think they speak volumes to what our community needs. And then also Olivia touched on the youth center. And especially right now, there's some talks in town council about whether there's enough funding to build the youth center in the town park, which was decided on, I think, in the spring to start doing it officially, to start making the plans for it officially. And so I think the community really needs to come together to make sure that, our youth's interests are put first. And that's really hard in Telluride, where there's a lot of competing interests all the time. But you heard it from like Olivia and a lot of students, they've been working on this for the past 5 years. So the town should honor that.
Right. So it sounds like, in other communities, bigger communities, youth have more places to go that provide kind of safe ways to enjoy their youth and have fun. But is the goal of this youth center to give them that kind of space to be able to go somewhere where there's without drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, it's basically just anyone can come. I think we'll host a couple of activities, maybe a couple times a month. I think I went to a meeting just for the basic design of it I think before school started, so sometime in August, and we were talking about having some sort of like study area and a movie theater, and it's just a fun place where kids can study together, hang out together, and just become more a community, I guess.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at like prevention science work, and a big factor in a healthy community is having healthy youth, and a big factor in having healthy youth is having a safe space for youth to go to talk to each other, to talk to adults, to find community. And Telluride does not have that. And for all that Telluride has, it needs to have a youth center. I think that's like a basic design of a community.
Right. So it sounds like really by joining the Communities That Care coalition or by growing this coalition, that Telluride would be bettering the physical and mental health of the youth.
Yeah, I think that's the main goal. The goal of CTC is not just to make Telluride a non-drinking, a sober town. It's to make sure that everyone is mentally and physically healthy.
That's amazing. Well, I have one more question for you, and it's pretty much just open-ended. If there's anything else you guys want to mention about the coalition before we sign off.
So we're new. I mean, I'm new to this role. Olivia has been with it for the past 5 years. But our goal right now is just to keep establishing this strong coalition of sustainable members like Olivia, who have been with it for so many years. And then also the same with the adults. Like, I know everyone's at capacity in the town, but this isn't just a fleeting issue. This is something that extends beyond youth and can extend into young adults and even older adults. And so making sure that we have this coalition and making sure that we take care of our community is like the biggest thing that we want to, our biggest goal, I suppose. I don't know. What do you think, Olivia?
I think you summed it up pretty well. I think our focus should be on growing first of all, our club and our coalition so that we can make a bigger impact on our Telluride community. And it's small. It's small right now, both Telluride and the coalition, but I think given more time and more resources and more members, we can really make a big impact on the community for the better.
Amazing. Well, thank you both so much. And do you guys want to really quick before we sign off, just give that information one more time if people want to sign up, who they can contact?
Yeah, so for the students, I mean, you can contact Olivia or any of the current members of CTC or Mr. Jones, the counselor. And then for adults and parents, you can email Tammy, me at CTC-ADMIN at TCHNetwork.org. And then also on our website, there's a bunch of information on there. And I think, when is the next meeting? Do you know, Olivia?
I think it's not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that.
Okay, it's usually like twice a month, the student club meetings, and they're either on Wednesdays or Thursdays.
I think they alternate between Wednesdays and Thursdays.
That's right.
So it'll be not 2 Wednesdays from today.
2 Wednesdays from today.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you both, Tammy and Olivia, for joining me today. If you want to learn more about the communities that care, visit Tri-County Health Network's website. And please join us in November for our next edition of Mental Health Matters. If you're interested in learning more about our behavioral health programs at Tri-County Health Network or have ideas for future shows, please email us at info@tchnetwork.org or call our offices at 970-708-7096.